Hi everyone, Josh here, welcome back to the channel. So, today I am bringing you the very promised long, waffly discussion of a few sales I've had over the last 90 days. There is no real set definition of what made it to this video. I just went through and thought that was interesting, that was a little bit different. People might want to know how much I sold that for. There's this I need to tell you about that listing, or maybe show you this one. It was just anything. I just picked a load of, I think, 22 random listings. Now, it's going to be a one-take video. I'm not editing it, so I'm going to get a bit waffly. I might not make a lot of sense. I apologize. I will do my best to stay on track. But let's start off with this first item, which I believe I showed in a haul video about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I got 3 of these vases and about 10 paperweights for £10. So this would have cost me about 90 pence, and I sold it for £40 plus postage, and it's off to America through the GSP program. Now, I wanted to talk to you about this because if you look these up under Murano art glass, they only sell for about £15. But if you use vintage Chinese plum blossom art glass, they sell for £40. So my point about showing this was make sure you do your research, because some keywords will make an item worth a whole lot more than others. So rather than £15, I got 40. Now I was going to change the price to £20 and just forget about it, because the Murano ones were only selling for 15. I completely forgot to change the price, and I'm glad I did, because I got £40 for it. It's an absolute beautiful thing. Some lovely fused glass on the front in a flower shape with some textured leaves. Now, the reason why I don't think it's Murano is the base is really rough. It's where they've cut it off the molding pipe, however they make the fusing pipe, however they blow the glass. You know what I mean. If it was Murano, I think that would be polished and that would not be there. But very happy to turn 90p into £40. I'd do that all day long if I could. And from that job lot, I had some paperweights, and this was the first to sell. I took an offer of £25. It was a 12 by 12 centimetre paperweight weighing 2 kilos. So it was quite a big one. Very surprised to get 25. For all the paperweights, I did makeupaprice.com. I did this one at 30, and all the rest are at 10 or 15. I think £15 plus postage. Completely no idea on paperweights, hence why I'm just going for it with a random price. It paid off on this one, and now technically I'm in about £40 profit on these 2 items with about 10 other paperweights left to sell. So I'm really, really happy. That was a really good pickup. I don't believe this was anything special, purely because the quality on the inside wasn't overly good, and the bubbles were every size going, and they were not controlled. Now, these lower bubbles kind of looked interesting, but again, they were just all hodgepodged and thrown in there. I don't think it was anything special. If it was, I've clearly missed something, but I'm happy with the money I got for that. This I'm only showing you, it didn't sell for a lot, but it just shows you that sometimes items can be a bit interesting. And also to mention that when I do fill a bag, I have no minimum price requirement for fill a bag, because if I pay 10p for it, which is my usual average cost to fill a bag per item, I don't mind selling it for £5. I don't mind selling it for more than £5, but 5 is my minimum. Usually my minimum. I don't think I sell anything for under £5 from fill a bag. If it is, I generally don't bother listing it. But it goes to show that sometimes it's worth rubbing in these weird and wacky things with weird images on the front. This was a 1960s Chad Valley tambourine. They sell for between £6 and £8. I just stuck it for £6 because it was slightly rusted on the actual tambourine metally parts. And yeah, that went quite quickly. I think sold within about 4 days. Next, a rustic wooden carved camel. Only showing this because I see a lot of resellers walk past wooden carved things at car boots, and I'm like, just ask. I'm sort of shouting at the screen going, ask. If it's 50p, grab it, grab it. Any wooden animal that is being sold for 50p is probably worth grabbing. Just a bread and butter item. They trickle out within a month. I think I had this up for about 2 weeks. They trickle out slowly, some faster than others, depending on the animal. There are collectors who will only buy camels, pigs, chickens, elephants. They're the ones who will buy this kind of stuff. And because it's carved and it's wooden and it's rustic, they will buy a lot of it based on the look, the simplicity, the detail. This was quite basic, but it had a nice look to it. It was really quite nice rustically carved. had a sort of star in the side. I think the lighting of this one helped as well. It really did bring out the texture, the little bit of damage there, the feet. It just make sure the lighting is quite well on these. People are quite picky with the wood. It needs to be a certain type, certain color to go with their collection. But I will always pick up wooden animals. I sell them for between £5 and £10 with no issues. Next, a Japanese ice cream scoop. I have sold about 6 of these now. I pick them up maybe once every 3 or 4 months. I don't particularly see a lot of them, but when I do, I buy them for 50p. I sell them for between £7 and £12. This one I took an offer of £5 for because the spring mechanism. So when this one, for this one, when you press that lever in, it's supposed to spring back out. This one didn't because of the rust. I tried cleaning it. I couldn't. If someone was that bothered, they could try cleaning it themselves. It still worked perfectly fine. It still kicked this ice cream scoop out. It just didn't spring back fully, and you had to sort of help it along. Still quite a good purchase. I think this one was from Fillabag actually, so it cost me 10p. But worth keeping an eye out for. This I was a little bit disappointed for. Disappointed with. I'm waffling on again. Disappointed with. I thought it was going to sell all day long for £15. Not a problem. It was weird. It was wacky. It was interesting. It was vintage. And I took an offer of a £5 for it. Quite disappointed. I could have listed it and forgotten about it, but it's one of those items where if it doesn't get interest, you kind of know it's going to be sticky. And I thought it was better just letting it go, get my money back, and a teeny tiny bit of profit. Now, I listed it correctly, I believe, because I was checking the local auction house the other day, and they had a big bundle of these, and they had, I think, 10 of them for £20 estimated value. So I think to get a £5 for one was probably where it was valued at, sadly. But I wouldn't pick them up again. But I just wanted to show you that sometimes these interesting things we buy just really aren't worth anything. Compared to some wooden fruit that sold for more. I don't understand it. 2 wooden fruit, they look a lot larger in the pictures than they actually are. I do include the measurements of the fruit. I think it's worth measuring stuff like this. 4-inch tall, 6-inch tall, etc. They were watermarked, they were scratched up, they were looking a bit rough. I still got £7.99 for them. 1 layer of bubble wrap in a box, off they go. Happy days. I was really quite shocked at that. Before we get onto this item, a lot of you are probably wondering why some of these are auctioned now. I have recently changed my listing method to do 10 auctions a day. And then the following week, I still do my 10 auctions, but then I do 10 buy it now. So I'm technically tricking the eBay algorithm by thinking, I've done 20 listings, when actually I've only done 10, and 10 are from the week before, and I'm just sort of refreshing them. It seems to have worked quite well, and it's actually quite nice because it's fun to see items get bids, and then you're kind of egging it on to get a few more. I've never had something get more than 2 bids. I know a lot of people on the Instagram and stuff get like 20, 30 bids. Sadly not for me, but I do sell stuff that is better at buy it now than auction. But it's all just to trick the eBay algorithm. So, yeah. I'm going to skip that item then. So this item here, I have picked up before the much larger, like 10-inch wide plates, wall-hanging decorative plates. They sell for about £40 because they are 24 karat gold trimmed, and the Spanish wall plates are quite collected. This was only a small 4.5-inch diameter one, like a coaster size. I still got £7.99 for it, and it was actually a little bit damaged. There were some speckle marks on it. I still did quite well. I have picked up loads of this glassware. It's like got gilded sort of painted flowers on. It's quite common to see in charity shops these days. I don't see it a lot at the car boot, but when I do, it's usually in Fillabag. I pay 10p for it. I sell it for between £5 and £10 for a vase. It's worth keeping an eye out for the larger, more interesting items. As some of you know, I got the decanter, which I've got listed for £80. I've seen in the local auction house, I think it was a box version, like a jewellery box, glass jewellery box, sold for I think £100. So it's definitely worth keeping an eye out for it. The more unique pieces will go for a lot more. I have only included these two because of what they are. teeny tiny aluminium jelly molds. I got 8.49 for them. This is stuff you find in the 10p rummage boxes, the 20p rummage boxes. People don't know what they really are. They are very expensive to buy in, and they also don't really make them that good these days. The older ones are the better ones. When I was in the kitchen, we used to love these, and you always ran out of them. You always needed more of them. So definitely worth keeping an eye out for these aluminium jelly molds. Next, Nutella glass. I don't think they make the branded Nutella glasses anymore. So I always keep an eye out for them. This was the Simpsons one. Not really the best lead photo there. That might have been a better one. But had Krusty and Bob on. I think that's his name, Slideshow Bob. Maybe. Anyway, £8.80 fill a bag item. Just keep an eye out for them. The Nutella glasses. This was an interesting one. I sold this the same day I listed it for £9.50. I don't know why they had to be down 50p, but I'm not going to say no, so maybe they expect you not to say no. It was a pain to ship because it was a really odd size. But again, you would find this maybe £1 these days on the car boots. I sold it for £9.50 plus postage. I was very disappointed in this item. This video isn't all about the good stuff, mind. I wanted to show you some things I was disappointed in because it just shows that sometimes our opinions on items are not the same as everyone else's. I loved this. I got it in filler bag, so I've only paid 10p. But the point is, I had this listed at £20 and was like, someone's going to fall in love with it, pay 20 quid. It was a really nice medium-sized terracotta like window ledge planter. It had a painter's mark on the bottom. I couldn't work out who it was, so I had to sell it unbranded. But I loved it. It was listed for months. The price had gone down. I took an offer of £10 for it. So I didn't get the 15 I wanted. I got 10. Postage was double that, so I really didn't make any money on it. But I wouldn't pick them up again unless I could work out the artist maybe. But it was worth showing. Adventure Time. I believe they've stopped making Adventure Time now, but the following of it is still huge. £10 for a hat I paid 50p for. So keep an eye out for Adventure Time stuff. Figures, accessories, jewellery, hats. It should all sell quite well, over £5. The collectors love it. This item, a keyword here is intaglio. It's the definition of the engraving on the glass on the base, if my research was correct. That might be completely wrong, but that's a keyword you should remember. £12, a cut, I believe it was crystal, but I didn't list it as crystal because I wasn't too sure. The glass was very thick, so it didn't ring how crystal usually does. But it was cut glass with the engraving fruit on the bottom. I sold it for £10. I think I paid £1.99 in a charity shop for it. This I got, I can't remember if it was filler bag or it was 50p off Steve's store one time. I think it was off Steve's store for like 50p or £1. Pressed celery glass, really wasn't anything special, but people do like the older vases these days. They fit in with a lot of the retro looking decor items people buy, and they go quite well with the retro colorways that people use. I know a few friends on Instagram who have the very vintagey, retro-y looking front rooms, and they love the retro vintage glassware. So £13 is something you'd buy for maybe £1 on a car boot store, not bad. Again, something else you'll probably walk past, French pressed glass. The base will just be marked France. It generally usually is for French glass. It had a nice amber colour. Grabbed it purely because of the handkerchief fluted sort of edge and the fact it was a slightly orangey amber colour. £13. I paid 50p for it. This, I don't believe I showed you. Oh, I did show you the other stuff later. Lovely. So I got a big bundle of Tradewin stuff for £10. This was crazed so badly that I was going to throw it in the bin, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to list it for £15 and just see what happens. I sold it for 15 quid. Very happy with that. Completely crazed. The person left great feedback. And then I was thinking, you know what, a lot of people are going to be buying this because they don't have a lot of money, but they want it because it's from their childhood, like it is from mine. And that obviously worked because someone paid £15 for it and loved it to bits. I'm showing this because I showed you 2 of these in my last haul video. I sold it for £15 and got posted on top, and I paid £1.99 for the newer ones. I paid £4 for this one, I remember. But again, if I sell the newer ones for 15 quid, I'm laughing. This I picked up when I went to Bridgend, so a more recent sale. It was a Great Ormond Street Hospital Gosh Peter Pan money bank. And I did donate an extra 10% to Great Ormond Street, purely because it's one of those items where, I don't know, some people get a bit funny with you if you're reselling charity items, but they're perfectly fine if you donate a percentage of the sales to charity. It makes no sense. I don't get their motive. But I donated to charity when I brought it, and I donated a bit of extra when I sold it. So that went to Germany, surprisingly enough. Germany. Another recent sale from Bridgend, I paid £2, I believe, or £3. I took an offer of £29.99. More than happy with that sale. It was a bulky item. It was taking up space. I had to borrow boxes from Carla, or I had to take boxes from Carla because I don't plan on replacing them. But I had to get boxes from Carla to ship it, and I'm just glad it's gone. To be honest, my room isn't made for bulky items. I can't have them sitting around for ages, so I was more than happy to get £29 for it. I made a good 20 quid profit. Next, you would have seen this in the shoddy video where I did it on the floor, but I picked it up for 50p from Steve. Absolutely loved it. I did use cottagecore in the title. That's a very good descriptive word these days for the Americans. They absolutely love cottagey items. And flower power would have been a good keyword, which I also used. I wasn't sure if they were sunflowers or daisies, so I just put sunflowers. I think that was the correct way to go because of the brown flower centre. I believe only sunflowers have a brown flower centre in these colours. I've never seen a white sunflower. Not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. I might have got the flower mixed up, but it was a lovely thing. £14, and that went to America. I don't know why America loves all my stuff recently, but they really do like the vintage items. Next, the first lot of the Tradewinds mugs. Now, these were the Matalan version. For some reason, Tradewinds must have done a deal with Matalan, and the Matalan ones are the exact same colours and facial designs as the official ones. So I believe it was like a second sell-off because the Matalan's ones were slightly smaller, but the colours were matching and the expressions were matching. So I think Matalan maybe had the seconds or the is it seconds I'm thinking of, when they're just not the same or up to the highest quality that they expect. They sell them off cheaper to like a liquidator. Because these, you see his eye was a little bit wrong there. I think there was a dent on one of these paintworks and a few marks. Never been used but from storage, £25. And then these were the official Tradewinds ones. They were brand new in box, but I did open to double check, and I'm glad I did because the yellow one was crazed. I got 35. I don't show the Tradewinds mark, but it's just Tradewinds with like a black ship in the middle. I paid £10 for those 2 boxes of mugs, the teapot which I showed you earlier, and 5 plates. So I've made a good £80 profit so far on them. And lastly, I hate clothing with a passion, as I've mentioned a few times here. I've got to be thankful for it though, because it did keep me going during lockdown. It was all I could get hold of, thanks to a few lovely reseller friends. And I just hate it. I haven't listed a load of it. It's just sat in bags here waiting for winter when I've got no stock. But even though I hate clothing, when it sells for £35 plus postage, it does make me happy. So I can't criticise it too much. It's just, I think the bit I hate is all the people asking all the silly measurement questions. How much? What's the measurement for the top of the neck to the bottom of the pit? It's like, really, just do pit to pit, pit to base. That should be good enough for you. But everyone's different in how they want to check for measurements. I don't usually respond to those people. I'm sorry, but I don't have time to go and search the item, measure it for you not to buy it. But yeah, I hate clothing with a passion. It's not my enjoyable part of reselling. I much prefer the bric-a-brac and the glassware, but like I say, when it sells for £35 you can't complain. Just a vintage retro Nordica, quite popular with the kids these days, even though technically I am a kid. They like the vintagey colours. So that was everything. I'm sorry if it was waffly. I'm hoping it was what you wanted. If it wasn't, let me know any more ideas in the comments. That's what I'm trying to say. I know a lot of you are sticking my videos on at the moment to get me some watch hours. I really do appreciate it. We are now 2,000 watch hours off getting monetized, which I worked out would take me about 50 days. So 50 days from now, I should be monetized. We shall see. I'm going to try and upload 3 videos a week for 50 days, which is 5 weeks worth, I think. I think we do it in 5 weeks. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. No, it's not 5 weeks. Let's say 8 weeks. 8 weeks would be about right, I think. And I can't do maths, I'm sorry, hence why my fingers had to come out there. I failed maths more than once, about 3 times in school. But anyway, I still make do with what I can do. I'm going to stop waffling. I'm going to love you and leave you. Stay safe, and I will see you for the Sunday car boot haul on Monday.